Last time, you watched Matt Armstrong resurrect crushed supercars from the edge of oblivion. But what if I told you that was just the warm-up? Everything you thought was impossible, Matt has already done. The burnt-out Lamborghini that roared back like a beast from the underworld. The Rolls-Royce Wraith that even Marcus Rashford's insurance gave up on. The Porsche 911 GT3 was stripped to its bones, rebuilt to perfection. But here's the twist. None of that was Matt's final form. After dominating disaster and bending reality with builds that broke the internet, Matt now finds himself at a crossroads. When you've already revived the unrevivable, what's next? You don't step back, you level up. And Matt's version of level up is pure madness. He's tracked down a project that defies logic, something so rare, so badly damaged. Even seasoned collectors flinched. But Matt, he saw a challenge, a legacy, a resurrection that would either cement his name as the greatest to ever do it or break him entirely. The stakes have never been higher, the damage has never been worse, and the hype off the charts. Because what's lurking behind that tarp isn't just a car, it's an automotive unicorn. And Matt's about to bring it back from the grave again. Beneath the dim shimmer of flickering garage lights, Matt remained quiet, arms folded, gaze locked onto a figure that seemed out of place in reality. There was no preview, no extravagant advertisement, no viral timer, merely an enormous shape beneath a dusty tarp, looming like a legend in the darkness. Nobody understood what it was, not even the team. Yet Matt had that expression in his gaze, the identical expression he wore before transforming a fire-damaged Lambo into a combat vehicle. This wasn't merely another uncommon restoration, this was the ultimate treasure of destruction. And as he finally removed the cover, time halted completely. A McLaren P1. Not merely any P1, but one that had been submerged, disemboweled, and abandoned. Devastated by flooding, this was no longer a supercar. It was a lifeless machine. The carbon fiber exterior was tainted with river silt. The engine compartment smelled of mold, and the hybrid battery setup totally immersed and deteriorated. Algae spread over the dashboard. It seemed as though it had been pulled from the Mariana Trench. Even McLaren wouldn't get involved, officially labeled a complete loss. The type of situation where even insurance providers declare no way. However, Matt, he simply gazed and grinned. This isn't a revival, he whispered. It's a revival. You could sense that energy in the atmosphere, since this wasn't related to status or influence. It concerned altering destiny, reviving something that the world had deemed lost and bringing it back to existence. No easy ways, no forgiveness, only a man, a disaster, and an addiction that refuses to let go. From the second Matt lifted the first panel, everything went sideways. The McLaren P1 wasn't just broken, it was electronically fried, chemically contaminated, and structurally cursed. Water had seeped into places water should never reach. The hybrid battery pack, submerged, bloated, and volatile, basically a rolling fire hazard. The monocoque carbon chassis cracked in microscopic lines invisible to the naked eye. And the electronics, a nightmare coded in corrosion, with sensors failing, like dominoes. Most mechanics would have walked away. Matt didn't even blink. He grabbed his phone and started working his international magic. A carbon fiber wizard in Munich, a reclusive ex-McLaren tech in Surrey who once helped prototype the P1, and in Tokyo, a rogue ECU hacker who'd reverse-engineered a Senna's brain. Matt didn't find parts. He hunted them like a one-man global supply chain. No eBay listings, no OEM replacements, just impossible finds tracked down, with favors, midnight messages, and absurd persistence. Every win brought a new problem. Panels warped in shipping, connectors disintegrating during install, a sudden short circuit that triggered a minor garage fire. Still, Matt powered through. No sleep, no breaks, filming by day, wrenching by night, his fingers raw, his mind locked in. And when suppliers ghosted or couriers failed, he jumped on a plane himself, hand-carrying modules through customs just to keep the build alive. The P1 was fighting him every step of the way. But Matt, he doesn't break. He adapts, reinvents, and with every challenge, he got sharper, more unhinged, more dangerous to doubt. This wasn't just restoration, it was defiance. And if he pulls this off, the game changes forever. Beyond the booming engines, million-view unveilings, and viral makeovers, there exists a side of Matt Armstrong that the internet seldom witnesses, the side that bears the complete burden of every expectation. Every project now has an audience, sponsors, an expanding team, and a persistent voice in his mind questioning how will you surpass that. Fame is not merely about admiration, it brings pressure. It's understanding that countless individuals are observing, evaluating, anticipating the next wonder. For Matt, each achievement elevates the standard slightly more. In the comfort of home, far from the lenses, that burden feels intimate. Extended nights hunting for elusive components, tweaking until dawn. Conversations with vendors that take unexpected turns, everything accumulates. His relatives notice it, his close companions sense it. A calm coffee with his father becomes a moment to contemplate how he transitioned from shooting rundown cars in a driveway to overseeing a seven-figure YouTube empire. However, the truth is that Matt remains strong in stressful situations. He changes it. That's why he has taken on a young apprentice, a 17-year-old youth who once lingered outside his garage wishing for a sight. Now, that same child is discovering welding, turning wrenches, and aspiring greatly. By mentoring him, Matt reestablishes a connection with his own origins. This goes beyond cars now. It concerns legacy, concerning the creation of more than just devices, concerning the idea that in a society fixated on flawlessness, there remains space for authentic grit, genuine challenges, and the kind of bold imagination that transforms chaos into excellence. Matt is not only creating hypercars, he's fostering confidence, and that's what renders him invincible. And then, following weeks of disorder, calmness, the garage, previously filled with the sound of grinding tools, the whir of diagnostics, and the vibration of potential, is now utterly silent. Each socket wrench is inoperative. The bright lights fade. It's merely Matt, the P1 by McLaren, and the burden of countless hopes. Gradually, nearly ritualistically, the carbon fiber monster advances. What used to be a submerged algae-infested catastrophe is now an artistic masterpiece resurrected from destruction. The body panels gleam like dark glass, rich and perfect, mirroring the overhead lights like a reflective surface. Each line shouts accuracy. Within, the cabin has transformed from a swamp of mold and mildew into a masterpiece of custom Alcantara, expertly stitched details, and revitalized digital excellence. What follows next is what truly counts. Matt gets into the seat. His fingers linger above the ignition switch. A single breath, one moment, and afterwards, existence. The gentle electronic pulse of the hybrid system stirs to life, succeeded by the deep, guttural growl of the twin-turbo V8. It's not merely beginning, it's reviving. As the P1 exhales flame, everyone in the garage becomes motionless. A dream that was previously decaying in a junkyard is now roaring back onto the roads. Reactions are invaluable. Fans outside recording, mouths agape. Even a McLaren engineer is seen murmuring, "No fucking way." Matt carefully pulls it onto the road. The camera records every perspective, each flex, every growl, and with each rev, it becomes evident that this isn't a revival, it's a transformation. The unattainable has been reimagined. What about Matt Armstrong? He simply elevated the standard for the whole sector. Yet Matt's adventure doesn't conclude beneath the dazzling lights of the garage. It extends well beyond the confines of his workshop, into the streets, car shows, and most significantly, into the lives of those individuals who watched him challenge the impossible while growing up. At a lively neighborhood gathering, the audience grows as soon as Matt arrives. Children, clutching wrinkled sketches of their ideal creations, dash forward, eyes bright, calling out his name. Parents trail behind, waving their hands, expressing gratitude for motivating their children to aspire higher and strive more. Teenagers who previously believed they could never break free from a collapsed life now view restoration not merely as mechanics, but as a way of thinking. However, Matt is not merely present to wave and strike a pose, he is there to contribute. Suddenly, he retrieves a set of keys from his pocket and gives them to a silent boy in the front row. It's a completely restored Mazda RX-7, reconstructed by Matt without camera gimmicks. No publicity stunt, just genuine passion. The young male, he had triumphed over cancer. As the tears streamed down, the audience became quiet. At that moment, the reality struck. This was never solely about vehicles. It focused on salvation, strength, and new opportunities. Matt hasn't just constructed machines, he's created significance. He provides tools to hopeful mechanics, contributes engines to college workshops, and welcomes young people who've been overlooked into his shop. What began as reconstructing metal has turned into restoring hope. He's demonstrating to the world that passion is not only lucrative, but also influential. And inheritance, it's not about the vehicles you gather, it's regarding the people you influence throughout the journey. Matt isn't merely repairing vehicles, he's reviving the confidence that the damage can come back, even more resilient than before. So, what comes next? Matt is in his garage. A silhouette looms behind him under a dusty gray cover, larger than the P1. And unlike anything we've encountered, he faces the camera, smiles. You've witnessed what can be achieved. Now it's your opportunity. What do you think I should create next? The screen flickers with previews, designs, coded diagrams, a glimpse of a luxury jet, and a cargo container being emptied. It's more than just a new construction. A new age has begun. Rumors of a unique prototype from a long-lost European brand. Or perhaps Matt is creating something entirely new. Regardless, one thing is certain. You haven't witnessed anything so far. If you believe you understand Matt Armstrong, reconsider. In this garage, no aspiration is too grand, no vehicle too damaged, and no obstacle ever overlooked. Share your craziest thoughts in the comments, subscribe, and get ready. The upcoming revival, it's already underway, and it could potentially make this P1 seem like a mere prelude.